Good morning and welcome back to GS1 Kenya's Traceability Week 2025. We are on day 3 and this is also the grand finale of GS1 Kenya's Traceability Week 2025. We are under this new theme of a new renaissance, connecting consumers through traceability and sustainability. And today we are kicking things off with so much energy, insight, and a whole lot of gratitude because what a journey has it been so far. First of all, let's give a massive thank you to our sponsors for giving us amazing hampers and sponsoring this year's Traceability Week. First of all, we say a massive thank you to Fayaz Bakers, Aquabreeze, Feel the Breeze, and Sandvit. Your support has meant everything, and asanteni sana from GS1 Kenya to you. We are truly thankful. To our amazing audience, you have been the wild energy, always getting the credit and the hampers. Yesterday, we gave out 3 hampers and they will be delivered to you. If you're tuning in right now, thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time tuning in to GS1 Kenya's Traceability Week, welcome. And we are truly thankful for taking your time to listen to what we have to present to you today. From day 1, we had an amazing presentation from Ian Mageto and Rhoda Mose. They were speaking about the 1D evolution to the 2D barcode, and moving on to Rhoda Mose, who was digitizing agriculture. And on day 2, we had a wild day with an array of presenters. We were giving out credit and we were giving out gift hampers. So if you want to get a gift hamper today, be keen, be attentive, and be quick because why don't I have so many hampers to give out? And to our presenters who were presenting yesterday, which was on the retail sector, it was Regan Gitao. On the healthcare sector, it was Nelson John. And on the construction sector, it was Geoffrey Allo. And trust me, today I saved the best for last. We have 2 good presenters and a panel of guests that are coming up. To our guests who have decided to come here and sit with us and talk about all matters traceability, because our guests are really walking the talk when it comes to traceability. So I won't spoil the surprise right now, but just know I have 3 guests who are coming on and they're ready to talk about GS1 standards and how they have been impactful in their industry. So stay tuned for that. On our presenters, first of all, we'll have Joseph Olo. He's the team leader on software and data, and he'll be speaking on GS1 standards beyond the shelves. And if you've been listening to me talking about Traceability TV, now we have an amazing presenter who'll come up here and tell you why you need to subscribe to Traceability TV, or even better yet, contact us, get our numbers, and we can do an amazing documentary for you. Now, speaking of Traceability TV, all the presentations that have been presented during this 3-day event will be up on Traceability TV. So if you'd like to go back there and watch any of the presentations, or you missed anything, or you'd like to share them with your team, or just get some insights on everything that is GS1, head on down to Traceability TV, subscribe to our channel, and let me tell you, you won't regret it because it's an amazing channel that has so much to offer. Now, moving on to our first presenter of the day. His name is Joseph Olo, as I mentioned, and he is the team lead for software and data. And as I said, we will be going beyond the barcode and behind the scenes to see what the real magic of traceability can do for you and your industry. It is my pleasure to introduce Joseph Olo, the team leader for software and data at GS1 Kenya. Joseph is a tech-driven problem solver with a deep understanding of how GS1 standards power not just the front end, but the full energy engine room of operations. Today, he'll be taking us through a game-changing session titled GS1 Standards Beyond the Shelves, where he'll unpack how GS1 tools and technologies can revolutionize archive management, warehouse management, and asset tracking. If you've ever wondered how to bring order to your complex systems, optimize your back-end operations, or prepare your business for a smarter, more connected future, this session is for you. So let's give a warm welcome to Joseph Olo. GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution. Strict compliance with competition laws is and always has been the policy of GS1. The best way to avoid problems is to remember that the purpose of the group is to enhance the ability of all industry members to compete more efficiently. This means there shall be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers or products, boycotts, refusals to deal, or market share. If any participant believes the group is drifting towards impermissible discussion, the topic shall be tabled until the opinion of counsel can be obtained. The full caution is available via the link below if you'd like to read it in its entirety.
Thank you, Marian, for that wonderful introduction. And for today's session, I'll be taking you GS1 standards beyond the shelves. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So one of the first solutions that GS1 Kenya was able to come up with is fixed asset management. So this is just a solution that is able to track and trace all the assets that you have within your facility, building, or your company. So what exactly does it entail? Looking at fixed assets, we could categorize them as tangible goods that are easily tracked, traced, and used within the company, facility, or environment. And this can entail machinery and equipment. It can entail furniture and fixtures, IT and electronics, tools and equipment, infrastructure and equipment, and also vehicles. So for vehicles, we can easily say it is a point of contention or a point for discussion. I leave that in the chat for the viewers to be able to categorize it either as a fixed asset or not an asset. We have gone through the definition of fixed asset management as well as a fixed asset. Let us now also see the challenges that are within the fixed asset management ecosystem. First and foremost, we have manual tracking errors. By this we mean manually writing of those records. This can bring a lot of errors either in terms of eligibility of handwriting or loss of that particular record in a manual format. Secondly, we have asset duplication or misplacement. So by this, we can be able to say if a particular record was recorded some years back and a new personnel comes and joins the company, it is easy for them to record it twice or thrice and furthermore. Thirdly, we have limited traceability across departments. This can easily be said a chair belongs in a particular department. It can be the IT or the communications department. But for instance, it is moved to the boardroom or it is moved to the accounts department. How best can we be able to track that this asset was moved from one department to the other? From there, we move on to inconsistent asset identification systems. And this is where GS1 can be able to assist majorly. Various institutions and various departments have various ways of identifying an asset. Some departments might start with AB, others might start with 1, 2. So this brings a lot of confusion and a standard format of identifying all the assets. Lastly, we have ghost assets. How many of us within the institution that you're working in have staplers that are not for the company and are not for maybe an individual? So this is what we mean by ghost assets. We really can't identify the validity or the particular asset who exactly it belongs to. GS1 standards revolves around 3 key principles, and that is identify, capture, and share. So how do we identify fixed assets? We have the GIAI, which is Global Individual Asset Identifier, and GRI, which stands for Global Returnable Asset Identifier. So these are what we use to uniquely identify fixed assets. And if we use these identifiers, we'll be able to ensure that there is no duplication and there is uniformity in all the departments or even in different locations. The second key principle is data capture. And this includes the EAN or UPC code. We also have the GS1 data matrix, the GS1 QR code, and the EPC code, which is just a fancy way of saying RFID tags. So for these mediums, they enable us to quickly and accurately capture data. And how best can we do this? Through scanning. And through scanning, we're able to do quick audits, we're able to do quick check-in and check-outs. And also when it comes to servicing some of your machinery within the office, it is much quicker to use this data capture mediums. For the RFID tags, they're usually used mostly within the supermarkets or with high-value assets. For instance, when you go to the supermarket and you buy a high-value target or high-value asset, when you walk out from the supermarket without paying, it will bring up a notification, but you have to go through the till number. fast. So from the images you can see within the screen, the first one is the EAN or UPC code, and the second one is the GS1 QR code. The GS1 data matrix is usually used mostly for the healthcare sector. As mentioned earlier, we have identified, captured, and now let's see how best to share this data. On this slide, there is a platform that can be shared through web-based platforms or mobile-based platforms. First and foremost, this platform can have the asset registry module, and this is just a module that can be able to digitize the manual records onto a digital format. Secondly, we have reporting and analytics. It is best to have it onto the platform because in the manual way, there isn't really live data and it is really difficult to have some of the real-time data. Thirdly, we have life cycle management. And this essentially just shows how the asset was brought in, how the asset is being used, and how the asset will be phased out. We also have mobile and web access, which I explained earlier, but just to insinuate about it, in the manual way, it is really hard for real-time data synchronization. But if you have both the web and the mobile, data synchronization is made easy, and everything that is scanned can be recorded. Finally, we have compliance and audits. In the digital records, it is easy to fetch data even from 20 years ago. And also this data can be inserted in a compliant format. But in the manual record, it is very hard to be able to fetch some of these records and also very hard to retrieve them. And also it is very hard to find compliant data because in the 90s or in the 2000s, how data was being recorded is not similarly to how data was being recorded as of now. The second solution GS1 offers, or GS1 Kenya offers, is visitor access management. To better explain this, why GS1 Kenya is passionate about visitor access management. Every visitor who walks through your door is either a potential risk or a valued guest. The difference lies in how you manage the access. At GS1 Kenya, we introduce a smarter, more secure, and seamless way to handle visitor entry. Why is visitor management important? First and foremost, data privacy and compliance. Our platform ensures that all visitor data is securely stored and handled in line with the Office of the Data Protection. This gives organizations peace of mind, knowing that personal data is protected and access is properly logged for audibility. We move on to operational efficiency. This is where we automate the entire visitor registration process from pre-registration to badge printing, freeing up the front desk staff, reducing queues, and eliminating manual errors. This leads to faster throughput and smoother experience for both the staff and the visitors. Thirdly is real-time insights and analytics. Administrators can access live dashboards showing who is on site, peak visitor times, and historical trends. This data can be used to improve scheduling and support emergency response protocols when needed. Lastly, we move to enhanced security and experience. By verifying IDs and issuing GS1 QR codes, we're able to track each and every check-in and check-out. This will be able to tighten access control while offering a better experience for visitors, residents, or staff, creating a safer and more welcoming environment. To bring such efficiencies, we are proudly introducing DATEM, the Visitor Access Management Platform. So some of us might ask ourselves, what is DATEM and what does DATEM stand for? It stands for Digital Access Traceability and Entry Management Platform, your data privacy for partner growth. DATEM is a secure, smart, and scalable solution designed to modernize how organizations handle visitors' access, ensuring that every entry is verified, every record is traceable, and every interaction is efficient and compliant. To begin with, Datem is a cloud-based platform and mobile-friendly as well. This assists in automating backups that the manual format does not provide. We also have scanner integration. Datem is also integrated with the rugged mobile scanning device that enhances efficiencies during check-ins and verification processes at facility entrances. Additionally, The device supports high-performance barcode and QR code scanning, even from a distance, thanks to its dedicated long-range scanner, as well as the design for tough environments due to its rugged casing. Every action taken in the system is immediately reflected across all connected devices and dashboards. This is what we mean by real-time synchronization. Whether it's a visitor check-in and approval by security or access granted at the gate, all updates happen instantly with no lag or manual refresh needed. For instance, when a visitor pre-registered in Datem and presents the GS1 QR code at the gate, the information is instantly updated by the security team officials, as well as sharing of the confirmation to the person they are going to visit. All this is made possible using GS1 standards by having standardized way of data identification, capturing and sharing of that information. Here's a small snippet of the platform. To dive right in, we have talked about dashboards, analytics, and all that. And I believe in more concentrated sessions, we'll be able to have lengthy discussions around it. But we'll just show you some small snippets of how the platform goes. For instance, we have the visitor management. So for the visitor management, we'll be able to see all the visitor biodata information, what they registered, the visitor QR code, and any other information that revolves around it, whether they pre-registered or they registered at the gate, as well as more information on the scanning at the gate as well. To add on to it, we also have a mobile device. So this is what will be placed at the security gate and be used by the security officials. So they also have functionalities as scanning visitors, scanning residents, and also scanning cars, as well as maybe adding them at the facility. So some institutions we might want they be added at the security gate. So checking in and checking out will be made much more simpler. As we continue to improve transparency and efficiency across the supply chain, the next solution that GS1 Kenya offers is Scan for Transport. This is a global standard designed to simplify how logistic information is captured, shared, and acted upon in the transport and logistic operations. With Scan for Transport, stakeholders are able to have more accurate and paperless data exchange from the warehouse to the last mile. For modern logistics, it now involves multiple carriers, transport modes, and handover points. This may entail land, sea, air, rail, and for the traditional formats, border, and even when you go to the village level, people still carry at their backs or their heads. This complexity increases the chances of data gaps, miscommunication, and delivery disruptions. Without a common data format, carriers and handlers, we can't easily interpret or process labels. Most still rely on manual checking, which slows things down as well as introduces room for errors. These gaps lead to, we can start with rework, relabeling, since they do not meet all the requirements, all the standards. The other gap we can also mention is problems at the border, delays in shipments to the distribution centers or the last mile deliveries. And finally, we can also say manual data entry errors, which may bring up or arise misinterpreting of labels, losing packages in the supply chain, or simply leading in wrong customer detailed entries. To address some of the challenges we've just seen, Scan for Transport offers a robust, standardized solution built on GS1 principles. S4T for short, which is Scan for Transport, leverages GS1's globally recognized logistic label standards to encode essential shipment information, ensuring incompatibility and consistency across the entire supply chain. Instead of relying on outdated handwritten labels, Scan for Transport utilizes compact and scannable 2D barcodes like the GS1 QR code, and this can carry far more data that are readable by mobile scanners as well as the 2D scanners. Additionally, the platform ensures that every label carries standardized identifiers like the SSCC, which is short for Serialized Shipping Container Code. along with the sender, receiver, and routing information, and any other information that you may think of is essential in the transport and logistics center. The harmonization of all this data eliminates guesswork and enables seamless tracking and delivery confirmations in the transport and logistics sector. With GS1 Scan for Transport, a single 2D barcode on a logistics label can carry all the essential data needed for every stakeholder in the supply chain. Case in point, let's start from the manufacturer. The manufacturer encodes shipment details like the SCC, product type, quantity, batch, lot numbers, and so much more information. This enables automated handover onto the next actor in the supply chain, which might be the wholesaler or the distributor. When you move on to the wholesaler or the distributor, they scan the same label to verify the contents instantly. No need to relabel again the package. This will be able to be integrated into their WMS, which is warehouse management systems, for real-time updates. From there, we move on to now the next player, which can be the authorities. The authorities can be customs, border control, or the regulators. They are able to read shipment metadata from the barcode to validate the cargo instantly, which enhances compliance, border clearances, and inspections without unpacking the particular package. And it also reduces paperwork by accessing digitally standardized data. From there, you can move on to the next players, which is marketplaces. It can either be online or physical retailers, which is just the brick and mortar shops. So for in-store or warehouse staff can be able to scan to track incoming stock, which enables accurate inventory reconciliation and product movement for reporting purposes. If you move on to online marketplaces, which is just the e-commerce platforms, they support order level visibility in automated fulfillment centers. Which brings me to the next player, which is the fulfillment centers or the logistics centers. The label allows them for automating sorting, routing, and dispatching of goods onto the last mile, which ensures packages are moved efficiently from dock to shelf to the delivery van in time, minimizing errors in cross-docking and intermodal handoffs. For the last mile delivery, this can be either your home or the pickup points. Delivery drivers can scan the same barcode which started from the manufacturer to access the address, proof of delivery requirements, tracking updates, and real-time confirmations, which can be sent to the customers, which improves transparency and trust, supports returns and reverse logistics with the same data and structure. To put into perspective, here's a short video to further explain this solution.
The last mile delivery process is becoming the difference between a disappointing and an excellent customer experience. Today's customers expect fast deliveries, order tracking, the flexibility for in-flight redirection, and lower costs. Due to the fragmented nature of transport with many systems all speaking different languages, businesses and their supply chains can struggle to keep up. The implementation of GS1 standards will help you share data more accurately and effectively with your supply chain partners. This will in turn enable you to better meet your customers' expectations. After a customer places an order, the supplier then applies a GS1 logistics label to the logistics unit. This gives the logistics unit its own license plate, so it can be easily tracked by every party along the supply chain. A GS1 serial shipping container code is the license plate number used for tracking. A 2D barcode, together with the GS1 Digital Link standard, will provide access to the transport requirements. This label can be used by all parties along the journey as the data encoded is represented in a standardized format and is globally interoperable. This eliminates the need for relabeling using different proprietary labeling formats. GS1 data exchange standards can also be used to provide transport instructions to logistics providers. It links the physical freight to the transport task. Using standards reduces the costs of managing data via different proprietary methods with different stakeholders. The logistics provider picks up the goods and drops them off at the depot for shipment across the country. Tracking physical events along the supply chain will deliver improved visibility and flexibility. If the customer makes a change to their delivery requirements, any party in the supply chain can get timely access to the updated instructions. For example, updated delivery location, updated delivery date, permission to leave the item if there was no one to accept the goods. The last mile logistics provider follows the updated delivery requirements and scans the label when they deliver the item. Because the data has been kept intact along the way, this scan lets the relevant parties know the delivery has been completed. Regardless of the type of freight, the industry or the mode of transport. By implementing GS1 standards into your supply chain solutions, you can enable efficiency, interoperability, and visibility across your supply chain.
We have discussed at length about fixed asset management, visitor management, and scan for transport for the transport and logistics sector. GS1 Kenya also recognizes the critical need to digitize archived files and documents that might still be used in legacy systems, whether it's visitor logs, regulatory forms, shipment records, or internal files for big manufacturers. The system ensures that nothing is lost, everything is traceable, and access is always controlled using archive management. Perhaps the question we might ask ourselves is why digitize archive or legacy systems? Many organizations still rely heavily on physical documents and legacy filing systems, which come with several growing challenges. Let's look at why digitizing archives is now a strategic and necessary movement. First and foremost, physical storage limitations. Paper records require space, and that space runs out fast. Physical files are bulky, hard to organize, and expensive to maintain over time. Secondly, we have slow retrieval and access. Finding a file from years ago can take hours or even days, especially if it's been misplaced or misfiled. Digital systems offer instant search and access from anywhere. We also have security and privacy risks. Paper documents are hard to protect. Anyone with access to the cabinet or their particular archive room could be able to view or copy them, making data breaches and privacy violations more likely. Vulnerability. There are many more types of vulnerability you can think of, but the one that come to mind can be fire, theft, floods. Add some more in the comment section which you might think of. Compliance issues. Regulatory standards now require secure, trackable, and retrievable records, all of which are difficult to achieve with manual systems. And finally, we have environmental impact. I mean, the world is going green. Paper-heavy processes consume trees, ink, and energy, contributing to waste and carbon footprint. Digitizing archives is also a sustainability step. We've discussed what an archive management platform is, and here's a platform overview of how it might look like and some of the features. So we might have features of how to document the files, which might use identifiers such as GDTI, which is the Global Document Type Identifier. Onto that, we also have dashboard and analytics to be able to view the total files, total documents, total locations, and many other information that you may want to input within the dashboard and the analytics functionalities. As well as some of the features you can add are registering all the stuff that use the system, all the different storage locations where the files have been placed, as well as requests for the files. So some of these files may need to be accessed for audit purposes. So all that functionality can be placed within the system. How can we be able to add the data capture functionality using the similarly JSON QR code that has been used from the fixed asset management all the way till archive management platform? And this is how it be able to look like. Additionally, this is just some more analytics or more in-depth view of how a file can be registered. So they register the file, the details, and if it has documents, you can add all the documents within that particular file and the storage location. If we have requests, all the requests can be documented within the digital platform. So in the manual format, it is not as easy to access this information in real time, but using such systems, digitized platforms, it is much easier and much more safer. At the core of everything we have shared today, from fixed asset management, visitor management, to transport and to archiving, lies a common foundation, which is GS1 standards. These standards are globally recognized, scalable, and industry neutral, making them a powerful enabler for future-ready and interoperable operations. By adopting GS1 standards, you're not just improving internal systems, you're aligning with a global ecosystem of businesses, authorities, and technology partners who speak the same digital language. So by adapting, integrating, and using GS1 standards, you shall place yourself, your organization, and the institution as an industry leader. Thank you so much for attending this session today. If any of the solutions we have explored has sparked an interest that you'd like to be able to connect further with us, either virtually or better yet in person, over a cup of coffee at our offices at GS1 Kenya, let's dive deeper into how we can tailor these tools to meet your specific needs and help you unlock the full value of global standards. Thank you very much, and back to you, Marianne.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for that powerful presentation on how GS1 standards go beyond the shelf. Thank you so much. Okay, now before we start, we're going to go dive deep into this interview session of today's program. But first, I'd like to remind you that the chat is open. If you'd like to ask Joseph any questions, he can answer anything. So if you have any question regarding his presentation or anything about archive management, fixed asset management, or datum, please ask him and he'll be ready to answer. Now, speaking of datum, as I said, we have our lovely sponsors, which is Aquabreeze, Fires, Bakers, and Sandwich. We have amazing hampers to give out. So one key thing that Joseph presented today was on datum. Now, if you are keen and you are listening actively listening to what Joseph had to present today, kindly tell me what datum is in full. If you can tell me what datum means in full, I have a gift hamper for you. Yesterday, 3 people won gift hampers and they're being delivered to them. And today I have some more gift hampers that I want to give to our lovely listeners and our members. So Joseph mentioned datum. It's a key thing in a key things that we're using here at GS1 Standards, GS1 Kenya, and we want to provide it to our security firms. So if you know the full meaning of datum, he mentioned it in his presentation, kindly tell us what datum means and I have a gift for you. Now, speaking of gifts giving out, I want to mention that for session etiquette, please put your phone on or your Zoom on speaker mode so that you can be able to engage with us better and have a better experience while we continue with the interview session of this program. So put your phone on speaker mode and you'll be able to see us clearly. And at the same time, so that we can be able to know who we are giving our gift to or interact with you better on the chat, please write your name in full. So write your name and which company that you're presenting here today at Traceability Week. Kindly do that as we continue with the session. And once again, I'd like to remind you, if you have missed anything from yesterday's session or from day 1 session, or even you'd like to listen again to what Joseph had to say about GS1 Standards Beyond the Shelf, I'd like to remind you that we will be posting all this on Traceability TV, so subscribe to our channel. And all those who are listening at Traceability TV, karibuni sana. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're just tuning in here on Zoom, we are still at Meeting People. Asanteni for tuning in and karibu. So Joseph, why don't we start? So thank you so much for that rich and informative session. And let's start with this. What are some of the most common mistakes companies make when managing their fixed assets manually?
Thank you, Marianne. I'm happy to be here as well. Well, I'd start with the majority of companies. What they usually do is not having a standardized way of recording their assets,
Yes.
right? So, for instance, You have an asset in one department, you have another asset in another department, but all these assets are identified differently. But if you categorize them, they're all chairs. So you have a chair maybe in one department, another department, and they're identified differently. In real essence, they should be identified with a unified standard format. That's where GS1 standards come in. Another mistake that they do is they don't regularly check or verify the assets. So with systems in place, it is much easier. But if you're having a large institution, it becomes really difficult to be able to, verify some of these assets. And just adding on to that, when it comes to doing audits or, calculating depreciation of these assets, it becomes really difficult.
Yeah.
Since some of them are just maybe documented in an Excel sheet or just in any particular book and never actually referenced. So they'll be archived, and that's that.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So as I said, we do have gift hampers to give out. So if you have gotten the answer, what is that term in full, we will contact you. So keep brainstorming and write it on the chat. The chat is open. If you have any question for Joseph, you can ask him. And he'll be able to answer. Now, I want to give out airtime. So this is for the Safaricom people. If you're a Safaricom person, get a pen and write this down, or just get your phone. It starts with *141 *4788089399046899. I'll reread it one last time, and if you've gotten the credit, please let us know on the chat. 4788089399046899. So if you've gotten that, please let us know so that we can move on. And for those who are watching on Traceability TV, the hampers are also ready for you. So if you know what data means in full, you can also write it down and our team will contact you. So you introduced GRI as a global identifier. How do these actually work in real life settings like factories or government offices?
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
So in the, when you looked at retrospect settings, GRI was initially used mostly in the logistics on the factory areas.
Mm-hmm.
And how they were being used was to identify returnable assets. So a lot of factories, a lot of logistic companies use a lot of pallets, crates, tins, recyclable, tins, and you name it. So these particular materials were assets for the company.
Yeah.
So they would travel country to country, place to place, town to town, continent to continent, and they would still come back to the, original location. So companies needed a way of identifying these assets that are traveling around. So hence GRI. So GRI in full is Global Returnable Asset Identifier, just for the people who maybe missed that in the presentation earlier. And it was used majorly in those sectors. But coming to offices, government offices to be specific, we have the laptops, we have some of the key assets that they use, the machinery that they, travel with or use to identify. You can even name a server that can be moved from one institution to another. So these are some of the assets that we can be able to say that can be identified using GRI. So if you use government has a number of bodies that maybe travel from county to county or office to office.
Yeah.
So some of these assets can be easily identified using GRI. But I believe maybe in some of these institutions, they are not using standard formats of identifying some of these assets, which poses a challenge that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So if you've gotten the credit, kindly let us know. I'll be reading another one for our members. Stay active, stay keen. Okay, I'm starting. *141 *55 96 49 77 41 85 16 16. So if you've gotten that, let us know. I'll also be reading one for Airtel Money. We had so many winners yesterday from Airtel, so I'll be reading that too. 43 66 66 966 46 36 17. I'll read it again. 43 666 96 64 6 36 17. So if you've gotten that, please let us know so that we can move on. And once again, the chat is open. If you have any questions for Joseph, please ask. He's ready to answer each and every question that you may have. And to our sponsors, thank you so much. I'm still giving out those hampers. So if you know what that term means in full, Joseph will be telling us the answer at the end of this session. So if you have gotten it right, prepare to get a gift hamper. It's a lovely hamper from our sponsors, Asanteni Sana, for sponsoring Traceability Week 2025. Now, moving on to the next question, Joseph. RFID and barcodes were mentioned as part of data capture. Can you explain the difference between them and when one might be better than the other?
That's actually a really good question, because in each of those, a barcode can also be subdivided into two, 1D and 2D, as well as for the RFID for active and passive. But I'll just talk in general, and maybe we can discuss with some of the viewers in smaller concentrated sessions. Yeah. So for the barcode, in general, it is a data capture, standard here at GS1. So the GTIN, as previously mentioned, is the identifier. So the capturing standard is the barcode. For the RFID, everything is embedded inside. So how can differentiate the two of them is one requires line of sight to capture that information. So by this, I mean it needs a scanner, something that can read it by line of sight. For the RFID, it doesn't require line of sight. As long as the device is placed somewhere and there's a sensor anywhere else, you can be able to sense. So one is captured using optical methods, so mediums. The other one is captured using radio waves. So that is one of the differences I can say. Another difference I can put is for the barcode, it is a one-time use standard, capturing standard. So once assigned, a particular GTN or identifier inside it can never be reassigned. So it can only be used for that. But for the RFID, it can be reused multiple times. So case in point, some of the clothes or some of the expensive stuff we buy in supermarkets have RFID tags. So when you go at the point of sale, it is being checked out, it will be removed and be reused once more. Just to maybe give a story to the viewers. Try and go to the supermarket, go to the expensive section, take that item and just walk out without using the point of sale. That is when you know what an RFID means. For the barcode, it won't raise any signals, but for the RFID, it will raise some signals. So that's some of the differences I can be able to mention between a barcode and an RFID.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much. Joseph is brilliant. So if you have any questions, ask. He's ready to answer. And I'll say this, GS1 Standards Beyond the Shelves is something that's key for each and every member that we have. And if you'd like to engage with Joseph even further so that you can be able to take what he has said and use them and embed them in your facility, I think that's a plus for you, because it's truly a plus for you. Now, I can see that one person has won the credit. His name is Bildad Nchemi. Thank you so much. You have been winning since yesterday, so keep winning, but I'd like to give another credit to someone else. So listen carefully. I think this one is the second, I'm saying this one for the second time, so maybe it might go through or might not, but if you've gotten this credit, please let me know. So it's 5596497741851616. So if you've gotten that, please let us know. And for Airtel, I'll be reading it once again. 43 666 966 463617. So if you get the Airtel one, please let us know. And if you're tuning in from Traceability TV, hello and thank you. And if you have any questions from there, you can also ask, and Joseph will answer the question. And again, to our sponsors, thank you so much. I can see that there's some answers that are coming in from the chat, but I did say that Joseph will answer the question that I asked you guys at the end of the session. So stay tuned up until we are done with this segment of the program, and then you will or may not be getting your gift hampers. Thank you so much for engaging with us, and I'd like to prompt you to ask him questions so that we can be able to learn more from what he has to offer. Okay, next up, Joseph, is one of your slides highlighted the Datem platform. Don't say what Datem in full means, because I don't want to give them the answer. The Datem platform is mainly for visitor access management. So how does this connect with traceability, and why should organizations care about digitizing visitor data?
Good question.
Yeah.
So just before I answer it, I would like to maybe begin with a small story of my personal journey, and I believe it's a journey of most of us viewing also this presentation. How many of us maybe have gotten an SMS or a message or an email or a call stating that your child needs a calculator in school ASAP, or rent is due, or school fees is due, knowing very well that your child is at home, your rent is well paid, and everything, all is well. So this is some of the situations that I have experienced. And just after digging deep, I found out that the information we share openly sometimes can be used against us. And how best, which is the easiest way some of this information can be gathered?
Recording in progress.
Through the visitor gates or through buildings, through facilities. So for some of these institutions, when you go there, they'll ask you to register your name, your ID number, your phone number, your email, and so on and so forth. So some of this information can be used against or without your consent. So that's where traceability comes in, and that's where actually datum comes in as well. So with the datum, we have tried to manage some of this information being leaked out by ensuring we are data compliant. So by this, I mean we are compliant, we are data processors, data handlers with the Office of the ODPC. So by this, also, we can be able to have this data and we won't be able to share it out. And also, we've been mandated to delete this data within a certain time frame. In the manual way, that data lives forever. So I'm sure if I wrote my details in the early 2000s, by then I was still a child. But if I wrote this data somewhere in some book, it still exists somewhere, right? So with the manual books, some of this information can easily be, stolen, can easily be misconstrued and used against your will. So traceability is really key in matters how best can we have this data be monitored by the people taking the information, in this case, security guards, security officials. Then from there, how best this data can be discarded and also notified to the owner of the information. So that is how traceability can work well in the visitor ecosystem.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. So once again, if you're just tuning in or you've just joined, we are here seated down with Joseph, and he had a presentation on GS1 standards beyond the shelves. So just for session etiquette, I'd like to remind you that if you're just joining in or you're already tuned in, kindly rename your Zoom to your full name and the company that you're presenting, so that even us, when we are trying to engage with you, we can know who we're engaging and where they're coming from. And also turn it to speaker view so that you can be able to engage with Joseph and I well, and you can see us perfectly. And once again, I'd like to say hello to those people who are viewing from Traceability TV. Thank you for tuning in. Asanteni sana. And if you have any questions, even from there, the chat is open from here in Zoom, and also the comment section on Traceability TV is open, so you can ask as many questions as you have, and Joseph will answer them. And again, I did ask a question earlier: what is datum in full? So if you know what datum is in full, keep typing it on the chat. Type it on the chat so that we can be able to see, and I'll tell you, and Joseph and I will tell you if you're correct or you're wrong, and we'll tell you who is winning the gift hamper and who isn't. But as much as you're engaging the wrong answers or the correct answers, we here at GS1 Kenya, we are truly, truly grateful. So if you have any questions, please ask them, and I'll be reading one more credit for you guys so that you can win some lovely, lovely credit. So this is for Safaricom, and I'll start. 5091092375703509. I'll read it one more time. 5091092375703509. So if you've gotten that, please let us know on the chat. And if you got the earlier one, I think I'll read it one last time because I can't see if anyone has gotten it. That is 5596477741851616. So if you've gotten that, please let me know. And also for Airtel, I'll be rereading it one last time, and that is 436669664636617. So if you've gotten that, let us know so that we can say a big shout out to you, and for engaging with us, a shout out to all our members. If you have a question one last time, please ask. And all the presentations that you have been seeing on Traceability TV will be available on Traceability TV. We also have so many documentaries and news updates that we post on YouTube. So follow us, subscribe, share the content with anyone you think might gain. And that is everyone who may gain on what we have to share down there at Traceability TV. So Joseph, your next question is, you touched on archive digitization and warehouse
Yes.
traceability. So what's your advice for a company that wants to start small, but eventually scale up their traceability systems using GS1 standards?
Well, for most of the large, warehouses or large facilities, they've been using the large SAP systems, the QuickBooks and so on and so forth, right? Which can be a bit, costly and a bit, lengthy in terms of implementation. So as GS1, we have tried to come with a solution, not only for the whole industry, not for a certain section, but for the whole industry.
Yeah.
So from the SMEs all the way to the corporates. So for the SMEs, we have certain packages and certain ways we can be able to plug them in. So as GS1, our standards are not, off the shelf or set in play. We custom build based on the need. So in this case, even for smaller enterprises, it becomes much easier to, implement. And for instance, if they have their own solution, we come and just improve whatever they have. I think the term is interoperability. So just making systems communicate with each other and everything to be working functionally and seamlessly.
Okay.
So for the SMEs to the mid SMEs to the mid corporates and every all the supply chain players, we can be able to have a solution tailor-made for each and every player that works best for them. So for the small enterprises, we have something for them. For the corporates, we also have something for you.
Okay,
Yes.
sawa. Now we are going into the last part of the interview. And as I promised, we have some winners and we have some losers. Now, now can you please tell us what that term means in full?
Good.
Okay.
So it stands for Digital Access, Traceability and Entry Management Platform or System.
Amazing,
Yes.
because guess what? People were actually listening to you, and we have so many winners. Najua your jibu haiko ChatGPT.
So there's no one who wrote that instead of digital.
No, everyone wrote digital access and traceability entry management. Thank you so much for listening keenly, for listening actively, and I can't imagine you guys got it. So the winner is Yvonne Osondo from Vertical Agro. So thank you so much, Yvonne. You are the winner, and we will be contacting you shortly for your gift hamper. I hope you love it because it's a really amazing hamper from our sponsors, Sunbit, Fayaz Bakers, and Aquabreeze. Thank you to our sponsors. And Yvonne, you're going to get your delivery very, very soon. Shout out to you for being such an amazing listener and an active member. Now we are going to the last session. Please give us a small parting shot before we close.
Well, I mean, the world is moving digital in many aspects, be it the platforms that I presented on. Even now, most of you are tuning in from either YouTube, Traceability TV, or Zoom, and all these other platforms, which is good, which shows progress and development. But I'm a strong believer also face-to-face interactions and personal appeal. So you can either drop a comment or reach out to me through the contacts so that you can have further engagements on how best GS1 can be able to improve some of the solutions you have, or just come and plug and play on whatever you have. We want each and every person who has joined this event to be an industry leader, not locally, but globally as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that parting shot. And as I said, all this is live on Traceability TV. So if you want to go back and watch anything, go to Traceability TV, subscribe to our channel, and all the presentations from Traceability Week will be available there. And don't just stop there. Go look at our news updates, go look at our documentaries, and I'm sure you love it and you will stay. So just head on to YouTube and subscribe to our channel To all our winners, from the credit to the gift hampers, don't forget to subscribe to our channel at Traceability TV. The chat was open and no one asked a question, but we have more sessions coming up. And as I said, it's the final day and we are closing it with a bang. I saved the best for last, as you just saw Joseph Olo had so much insights to offer. So up next, we have a panel of our members who are brilliant, and they want to show you how they're walking the talk when it comes to traceability. They are implementing all the standards that we have spoken about in their systems, and they're ready to advise you to come on and join us and take the next step when it comes to traceability and in your business and in your factories and your manufacturing sector, from the retail sector to even the hospitality and even the healthcare sector. So be sure to stay tuned and stay seated. Go get a coffee or a notebook, because my next panel has so much to talk about and they're ready to engage with you. And I still have more gift hampers to give out, and I still have more credit to read out. So stay tuned and you won't be disappointed. Thank you so much. In the heart of Kenya, from the busy streets of Nairobi to the quiet corners of our towns and counties, there's a silent expectation that when we walk into a school, a hospital, an office, or even a home, we will be safe. But behind every open gate, in the heart of Kenya, from the busy streets of Nairobi to the quiet corners of our towns and counties, there's a silent expectation that when we walk into a school, a hospital, an office, or even a home, we will be safe. But behind every open gate lies a question we rarely ask. Do we really know who's coming in or going out? For decades, our buildings and institutions have relied on trust and paper. A simple notebook, a pen, a signature that could be real or fake. In schools, unknown visitors walk through halls where children learn. In offices, contractors move freely with little record. In hospitals, someone's loved one checks in and disappears unnoticed. And when things go wrong, the only answers lie in smudged handwriting, missing pages, or lost records. Ask any security guard. Ask any building manager. They will tell you the same thing. They try, they care, but the tools they have are not enough. This is not just about security, it's about accountability. It's about peace of mind. It's about the mother who wants to know her child is protected, the company that needs to track its visitors, the family that deserves answers when tragedy strikes. But Kenya is waking up. From private institutions to public agencies, a change is happening. New digital visitor management systems are replacing books with biometrics. Manual records are giving way to real-time dashboards. We are beginning to see, track, and understand who enters our spaces and why. With organizations like GS1 Kenya leading the charge and support groups like Prozac, we are redefining what it means to feel secure, not just at the gate, but throughout every corridor of our lives. Security is not just a service, it's a promise. And visitor management is not just about systems, it's about trust, about dignity, about belonging. Because safety doesn't start with a wall, it starts with knowing who we welcome and protecting what we value. But Kenya is waking up. From private institutions to public agencies, a change is happening. New digital visitor management systems are replacing books with biometrics. Manual records are giving way to real-time dashboards. We are beginning to see, track, and understand who enters our spaces and why. With organizations like GS1 Kenya leading the charge and support groups like Prozac, we are redefining what it means to feel secure, not just at the gate, but throughout every corridor of our lives. The future of security in Kenya is not built on fear. It's built on data, on connection, and on responsibility. Together, we are building a country where every visitor counts, where every record matters, and where every life deserves to be safe. This is not just innovation, this is transformation. And this is Kenya beyond the gate.
Sunbeat, Club 99. Why pay more? Mbona ulipe zaidi? Sunbeat, feel good every bite.
This is the best water in Kenya. I'm not just saying this because I'm from here. I'm saying this because I've traveled all over the world and I've tried so many different types of water. There's no water that compares to the purity and the freshness of Aqua Breeze. It's so pure.
Welcome back. And now it's time for the most exciting part of Traceability Week because we are moving from theory to practice and from slides to lived experience. I am honored to be joined by these amazing people from Camino Ruiz Global Tilapia, who are members of GS1 Kenya, and they're ready to tell us how they've been walking the talk when it comes to traceability. They'll be introducing themselves shortly, but first, I would like to remind you that the chat is open as we continue with this discussion. Maybe you have a question for our beautiful ladies here today. You can ask them any question and they'll be ready to answer. And at the same time, I'd like to remind you that we are live on Traceability TV. So if you're joining us from Traceability TV, karibu sana. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're here on Zoom, you've just joined, we finished a session with Joseph Olo, and his presentation will also be put up on Traceability TV. So you can go and subscribe there, and you'll be able to watch his presentation and other presentations that were presented earlier on this week. So to start us off, I will be serving up some gift hampers today. So I will give you a question right after the ladies introduce themselves, and I'll also be dishing out some good credit from Airtel and Safaricom. So keep your keypads ready to type as fast as you can so that you can win some credit. Now, can you please introduce yourselves so that we can begin the session?
Hi, I'm Nasla Karim. administrative assistant at Camino Ruiz Global Tilapia and also the customer service representative.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Candy, the GM, Camino Ruiz Agencies Global Tilapia.
Okay, just keep the microphone because the first question will be yours. How does traceability help you better serve your customers?
So we deal with a very delicate product, fish. So traceability for us is key because we need our customers to have quality and clean product that they will be able to enjoy and not suffer from anything like food poisoning or something like that. So in terms of traceability, we pride ourselves in carrying the whole process from the farm all the way to the customer's plate. So we can trace our products from fingerlings for fish all the way to coming to your plate. You're able to know where does this fish come from? Is it the lake? Is it what we do this from Lake Victoria? So the customers are able to know that this is from Global Tilapia, mostly because of the barcodes that we use. You can scan and check if the product is legit. As for us, it's that being able to know, is this product handled well from the farm? Has it been handled well when it's being produced and all the way to the shops, because we're in most of the supermarkets. And therefore, we need to be sure that what customers are getting is actually from us.
Okay, Nansla, you mentioned that you're from the customer service. You come from customer service. So please, can you help me answering that question just to give our viewers more information?
Traceability is very crucial for us because the customer gets to trust the brand. Basically, we get a lot of questions on, are you sure it's a Kenyan brand? I always answer questions on where is it from? How is it handled? Because most of our customers are families, so you will get families who are elderly and also the children. So we always have to ensure that our product is safe for all.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now, as you've seen, they have so many insights to offer. And before we continue, I'd like to give out some credit to our members if you're listening carefully. I'll start reading 32, 73, 77, 40, 56, 89, 64, 22. I will not be repeating that because I know there are people who are fast, so I know you got it. And if you're watching from Traceability TV, hello and welcome. We are here with Camino Ruiz. I'm here with Nasla and Kendi. For those who are just tuning in, they're from Camino Ruiz Global Tilapia, and they're going to be talking to us about how they're walking the talk when it comes to traceability. Because we know when it comes to the seafood industry, fish is very, very delicate, and so traceability is quite key. And that moves me on to our next question: is how do customers benefit from having access to transparent and reliable product data?
So once they scan or once they even look at the package, they get to have the information that this is a Kenyan brand. Other than it being a Kenyan brand, they also understand that the whole process, as Kendi had mentioned, we are privileged enough to be handling the whole process, the supply chain. So from the fingerlings to transportation to the people who handle the fish to packaging. So it's all Global Tilapia who deal with that. So a customer will appreciate that and actually buy from us.
Okay, thank you so much. For those who are just tuning in, we are here with Camino Ruiz Global Tilapia, and they're talking to us about traceability. We thought best that to pick people who are from the seafood industry, because the seafood industry is quite key. I mean, you don't want your fish to go bad. You want to know where your fish has come from sea to plate, and that's what they're here to answer our questions. And speaking about questions, the chat is open. If you have any question for our panel here today, I am sure they're ready to answer and we are ready to ask them. So please type out and answer all the questions that you have. And please, please, please engage with us. Even if you have a comment to share to Nasla and Kendi here, you can also type it out and I think they'll be happy to hear it, right? So engage with us and then and as we move on. Now, as I mentioned, I said I read a credit from Safaricom. I'll now be reading from Airtel, 32 76 5 24 3 11 48 50. I'll read it once again. That's from Airtel, 32 76 5 24 3 11 4850. If you get that, please type it out and let us know. If you got the Safaricom one, please let us know. That one that started with 32. So please let us know if you've gotten the credit. And as I said, I will be dishing out a hamper. If you have a question for Nasla or Kendi, I will be giving you a hamper. The first person who asks them a question, you will be getting a gift hamper from us from GS1 Kenya. And speaking of hampers, I'd like to thank our sponsors for the day, which is Fayaz, Sunvit, and Aquabreeze Feel the Breeze. Thank you so much for sponsoring Traceability Week 2025. We here at GS1 Kenya, we are truly grateful. Asanteni sana. Now, moving on to the next question, you can give the mic to Kendi, is are you seeing growing demand from customers for information and product origin ingredients or sustainability claims?
Yeah, being in the food industry, everybody really wants to know where their food is coming from, mostly because, as Nasla had mentioned, a family setup, it has the kids, has the elderly, people who really need quality. So, from the questions that really come, it's how do you, where do you get your fish from? Where is it handled? What's the process of probably making, say, fish fingers, because we have various products. What ingredients have you used? So all these questions can be answered because we are able to give all that information to our customers, and they can also see it when they try to either scan or read the packaging on our products. They're able to get the information that they require. But for food, and especially fish, considering that we have a number of products that are frozen, people are really keen to understand if that food has really been handled well by the time it gets to the shelves, so that they are sure that what they are consuming is palatable and is not something that is going to cause them, say, food poisoning or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Would you like to add on to that?
I think
That suffice. Okay, thank you. So as mentioned earlier, if you have a question for Nasla or Kendi, please ask it. And if you've won a hamper before, let some other people win. So anyone who's just tuning in and you want a gift hamper from our sponsors and also from GS1 Kenya, please ask them a question and I will get you a gift hamper. Also we already have a question. I'll ask the question shortly. And now, before we continue, I'll be reading more credits so that we can be active listeners and listen keenly. So the numbers are, this is from the Safaricom line, 24 65 266 59908 4643. I'll read that once again, 24 65 26 65 99 80 46 43. I hope you had that. And if you've gotten the credit, please leave a shout out there on the comment section, on the chat here on Zoom, or even if you've won the credit when it comes to Traceability TV, for those who are watching us from Traceability TV, please leave it on the comment section and our team will know and they will notify me. So as I said, you have a question and this is our lucky winner, Amoke Daniel Hasba K Limited. So how is this concept going to help persons with small businesses in Kenya? Is there a way this concept can work with people without smartphones? We're here dealing with traceability when it comes to the seafood sector. So please ask questions that are on that topic. But thank you for your question. So I'll just move on to the next question because that question was not in regards to this. In what ways does your organization ensure authenticity in the supply chain? I can give that to Nasla.
That we had already mentioned earlier. So basically, we are in charge of the whole supply chain. So from the fingerlings to the staff that farm the fish, the transportation, we have a production team here in Nairobi. So once the fish comes here, the production team works on it. Those are our people. After production, we also do the packaging. So we deal 100% with the whole supply chain.
Okay,
Yes.
please add more on that kindly.
She's covered most of it, and also the fact that we also do the transport, the last step from our factory to the customer. That's for those that order online, we deliver, and for the say supermarkets, hotels that we supply to, we also ensure that we do the end to end. So we do everything. So we have no point where we don't know who handled our products. So by the time it gets to the customer, we can easily say that we've delivered a product that is of good quality as expected by the specific clientele.
Okay, thank you so much. And we were talking about standards and barcodes and traceability, and that's what we are here to talk about today with Camino Ruiz from Global Tilapia. And they're just giving us more insights on how traceability has given them so many benefits in their operations and how they do things, and how even for their own consumers. So for those people who are just tuning in, this is a panel, and if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to share with our beautiful panel over here, you can ask them or you can just type them on the chat. And for those who are on Traceability TV and you're watching, thank you for tuning in. I hope you're subscribing to our channel, and so you can also add comments or any questions that you may have, and they'll be able to answer. Also, as I said, I'm reading credit, and so if you've gotten any credit, kindly let me know so that I can read more numbers. But I will repeat the ones that I had read earlier, and this is for the Safaricom people: 32, 73, 77, 40, 56, 89, 64, 22. And I'll read the next one. It is 24, 65, 26, 65, 99, 80, 46, 43. So if you've gotten that, please let me know. And for people on Airtel, if you get this credit, please type it out on the chat. It's starting with 32, 76, 5, 24, 3, 11, 48, 50. So if you get that, please let us know. We are on the last day of Traceability Week here at GS1 Kenya. So for everyone who has been tuning in, I know there's some common names from Bildad Nchemi to Mbwana, who's always tuning in. So shout out to you. You have been an active listener from day one. So thank you so much for tuning in. And for all those who have not mentioned, or you're still here and you've been here since day one, we here at GS1 Kenya want to truly thank you, and also thank our lovely guests here for coming all the way here and engaging with us and giving us answers to some of the questions that we may have. I'll now move on to the next question. It is what internal mindset shift or culture change was needed to become more consumer centric?
So for that, we made sure that we engage our customers. And for that, they were able to bring up products or even tell us about products that we actually did not have from the beginning. So because of that, we were able to come up with a new product line. So that's the fish fingers, fish nuggets, fish balls, both plain and spicy. So we are able to reach to our customer needs. We've been able to reach our customer needs because of that.
Okay, thank you so much. And now for Kendi, where can listeners learn more about your work or connect with you?
So you can go to our socials, Global Tilapia on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we have an office line, which is 07. I'll have Nasla read that for us. She knows it better. Then we also have a website. So you can learn a lot about fish, because what Camino Ruiz has done is, make fish more exciting, because fish was just fish, but there's a lot that can come from fish, from the fillet, as Nasla mentioned, fingers, nuggets. There's a lot that Camino is doing when it comes to developing the product, which has all been as a result of listening to the customers, and customers appreciating the fact that the fish that we are giving to them was something they could trace. So that's what has given us that advantage of having the customers trust our brand. So we came up with now the rest of the products because already the customers could feel that this global tilapia fish is fish that we can trust. So now you can go to our pages and learn all that. Nasla will give you the phone number that you can call in case you have orders or you still have some inquiries that you'd love to make.
So the contact is 0768 552993.
Kindly repeat that so that they can write it down.
0768 552993.
Okay, thank you so much. And before we close the session with just a parting shot from both of you, I'd like to remind our viewers that we are live on Traceability TV. And even this session, just in case you would like to forward it to someone, maybe a team member, or like to get in touch with us, please head on down to Traceability TV. Everything that we presented here during the week will be available there, and even our contacts so that you can be able to contact us and maybe even one day join a panel like this one. So that's all on Traceability TV. And the chat is open. Before we close, I'd love to read out maybe another question or maybe a comment from one of you. So please just type something out just to thank them even for just coming here and giving out and dishing out their insights and their knowledge when it comes to traceability in the seafood sector. So apart from that, please give us one last parting shot before we close.
I feel it is important for every business to engage in what what you guys offer. So it's easy, and once people trust and they can see that they can scan a code and actually get the information that is reliable, you end up, the customer or whoever is scanning the code will trust the business and will trust that brand. And that is how you end up making more sales or even and even like expanding more just because of that. So it is very important to work with a company like yours. We are beneficiaries and we are very thankful.
Thank you.
I think Nasla has covered it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, for businesses, it's important to have your customers know where your product is coming from. And also for consumers, it's important for you to know where does my product come from. And this way, we can all live in an environment where we are informed and we also have knowledge of exactly what we are consuming, because I think they say we are what we eat.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. You've had it. It's not even coming from GS1 Kenya. It's coming from people who have implemented and have reaped the benefits of partnering with GS1 Kenya. The three things that I had Nasla and Kendi say are trust, more sales, more money. What else do we need? And that's what comes with GS1 Kenya. You get more money, you get trust, and you get, most importantly, traceability. So next time when you're buying something from Global Tilapia, just know that it is GS1 Kenya certified and they trust us. So trust us to give you the best. And that's a wrap from here from my panelists. Thank you so much for joining us here today and answering the questions. You are lovely. And karibuni tena. Thank you. And for our members, stay tuned. We have one last session. As I said, we are wrapping up Traceability Week 2025 under the theme A New Renaissance, connecting consumers with traceability and sustainability. And for any businesses that want to thrive, traceability is truly key. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. I'll be back shortly introducing our last presenter of the day and also of the week. So don't go anywhere. Just grab another notebook or even a cup of coffee and a snack and be ready to get a hamper or even credit and even more insights, which is more important. This is the most important part of what we have to offer here at GS1 Kenya. So thank you so much. I've been your host, Miriam Munyoki. In the heart of Kenya, from the busy streets of Nairobi to the quiet corners of our towns and counties, there's a silent expectation that when we walk into a school, a hospital, an office, or even a home, we will be safe. But behind every open gate lies a question we rarely ask. Do we really know who's coming in or going out? For decades, our buildings and institutions have relied on trust and paper. A simple notebook, a pen, a signature that could be real or fake. In schools, unknown visitors walk through halls where children learn. In offices, contractors move freely with little record. In hospitals, someone's loved one checks in and disappears unnoticed. And when things go wrong, the only answers lie in smudged handwriting, missing pages, or lost records. Ask any security guard. Ask any building manager. They will tell you the same thing. They try, they care, but the tools they have are not enough. This is not just about security, it's about accountability. It's about peace of mind. It's about the mother who wants to know her child is protected, the company that needs to track its visitors, the family that deserves answers when tragedy strikes. But Kenya is waking up. From private institutions to public agencies, a change is happening. New digital visitor management systems are replacing books with biometrics. Manual records are giving way to real-time dashboards. We are beginning to see, track, and understand who enters our spaces and why. With organizations like GS1 Kenya leading the charge and support groups like Prozac, we are redefining what it means to feel secure, not just at the gate, but throughout every corridor of our lives. Security is not just a service, it's a promise. And visitor management is not just about systems, it's about trust, about dignity, about belonging. Because safety doesn't start with a wall, it starts with knowing who we welcome and protecting what we value. But Kenya is waking up. From private institutions to public agencies, a change is happening. New digital visitor management systems are replacing books with biometrics. Manual records are giving way to real-time dashboards. We are beginning to see, track, and understand who enters our spaces and why. With organizations like GS1 Kenya leading the charge and support groups like Prozac, we are redefining what it means to feel secure, not just at the gate, but throughout every corridor of our lives. The future of security in Kenya is not built on fear. It's built on data, on connection, and on responsibility. Together, we are building a country where every visitor counts, where every record matters, and where every life deserves to be safe. This is not just innovation, this is transformation. And this is Kenya beyond the gate.
Sunbeat, Club 99. Why pay more? Mbona ulipe zaidi? Sunbeat, feel good every bite.
This is the best water in Kenya. I'm not just saying this because I'm from here. I'm saying this because I've traveled all over the world and I've tried so many different types of water. There's no water that compares to the purity and the freshness of aqua breeze. It's so pure.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in once again and staying seated as we continue with our program. Our next presenter is one of our last presentations of Traceability Week, and it has truly been amazing and incredible and marvelous. We've had so many insights and so much wealth of information that has been offered to you from us here from GS1 Kenya, and we've also gotten so much engagement from you, our listeners and our members. So for that, we are truly, truly thankful. Asanteni sana. You just heard from our panel. We had a panel discussion here with Camino Ruiz from Global Tilapia, with Kendi and Nasla, and they had so much to offer and telling us the benefits of working with GS1 Kenya. And let me just repeat them. It's trust, it's traceability, and the best of them all is more money and more sales. And that's what you get when you work with GS1 Kenya. So from Traceability Week to the world, here we are, and we have one last presenter, and he is truly a force to be reckoned with. He is going to shine a spotlight on what influences everything when it comes to consumer trust and industry information, and that's the media. So you've been hearing me talk about Traceability TV. So if you're tuning in from Traceability TV, thank you so much for tuning in. And that we're heading on there next with our presenter, because he understands the power of media better than anyone else. Please welcome Stephen Owili, the PR and media executive at GS1 Kenya, a passionate communicator, a storyteller, and a strategist who works at the intersection of standards, public engagement, and digital communication. Today, Stephen will be speaking on the role of media in promoting traceability, a timely and essential topic exploring how media shapes public perception, educates consumers, and drives the adoption of traceability solutions across sectors. As I said earlier today, I am saving the best for last. So, in this world where visibility, trust, and accountability matter more than ever, this session will show us how the right message is delivered through the right channels and can shift industries and minds. So please join me in welcoming Stephen Owili to the virtual stage. GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution. Strict compliance with competition laws is and always has been the policy of GS1. The best way to avoid problems is to remember that the purpose of the group is to enhance the ability of all industry members to compete more efficiently. This means there shall be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers or products, boycotts, refusals to deal, or market share. If any participant believes the group is drifting towards impermissible discussion, the topic shall be tabled until the opinion of council can be obtained. The full caution is available via the link below if you'd like to read it in its entirety.
Thank you so much, Marianne, for that introduction. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. Let's begin by understanding who GS1 Kenya Media is and what we do. Number one, we are the team that is behind how GS1 Kenya communicates, and our work basically involves sharing messages in a creative and strategic ways. We do this by using stories, videos, social media, and events to explain why traceability matters. Secondly, we also ensure that we stay updated with the global issues in the supply chain, that is in the food safety, product recall, traceability innovation, among others. And we pass this knowledge on our audiences to ensure that they also get updated in regards to the traceability news that is across the world. Third point, we are also the storytellers of GS1 Kenya, because we bring GS1 Kenya to life through the real stories, whether it is a small vendor using barcodes or it is a big manufacturer improving product tracking. Let me now explain why we do what we do. And our purpose as GS1 Kenya, number one, is to amplify the voices of companies, especially the GS1 Kenya members. Many companies are doing amazing work with traceability, and our role as the media team is to help them be seen, heard across Kenya and even beyond borders. Number two, we make traceability meaningful and relatable to the public. The term traceability is usually seen as a technical term, but we make it very, very easy so that the public can understand by we showing them how traceability works and how it helps them. Thirdly, we foster a culture of visibility across industries, because our goal is to help every sector, that is from agriculture, retail, transport and logistics, healthcare, among others. And we do this to help them embrace openness, because visibility builds the trust. Our vision is simple: to use media as a tool that makes traceability clear, useful and trusted by all. We envision a world where supply chain will be transparent by design, whereby every product can be traced, helping reduce counterfeit goods, unsafe items, and even the unethical practices. Stories will shape smarter sourcing, because businesses will use traceability to make better decisions. Leaders will also be able to drive change through visibility by just implementing traceable, sustainable, and cost-effective systems. Openness will also be the norm. We believe that businesses that are transparent tend to earn more trust. And through GS1 Kenya Media, we aim to make traceability not just visible, but a trusted part of every business. One of our strongest tools is the social media. GS1 Kenya is present in the social media platforms, and this includes Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, among other platforms. And these platforms usually help us to connect with the businesses, students, small, medium enterprises, and even the consumers in general. We also share updates, that is the traceability tips and also campaigns. And this also gives us the opportunity to also create videos. We've done a lot of videos, especially on the TikTok account. If you can watch the GS1 Kenya TikTok account, you will see what we've done. We've done a lot of videos showing how you can access product information and how this can also help in saving life through knowing what you are consuming at the right time. Now, let's look at what truly sets GS1 Kenya Media apart. The reasons why our media platforms is trusted, effective, and impactful across the country and beyond is that we highlight companies that are verified and use GS1 standards to build trust as an example to others to follow. We also amplify their stories or the success stories so that they can show the world what they are doing in regards to traceability and how they are doing it. Traceability is not just for the one industry, and therefore we work with all sectors, stakeholders, to show how global standards apply in their sectors. We also bring traceability to life by turning technical information into content that people can relate to. That means that we tend to make it very, very simple so that the public can know about traceability and understand how they can scan products and get information from the product and how that information can help them. Everything we also produce is backed by GS1 global systems, giving our media work credibility and consistency across borders. We connect physical products to the digital record. Our content usually explain how barcodes, QR codes, and even the data system follows the products that is through the supply chain. Our content also responds to safety, authenticity, and even the market visibility. For instance, in case of a product recalls, we act very, very quickly to inform the supply chain stakeholders to take action. Our work is also recognized and supported by certified institutions, giving us a wide network of influence and collaboration. As part of what makes us unique, we don't just tell stories. We publish them. One of our platforms is a digital magazine, The Tracker. It is where traceability meets storytelling, education, and innovations all in one publication. We also feature individuals, businesses, and organizations making an impact by driving transparency and visibility across the sectors. We conduct interviews and also cover stories on how innovations and technologies are changing the traceability landscape. Education-wise, each article is designed to inspire and inform, offering readers practical insights and a call to action to embrace greatness in transparency. We also aim to deliver simple, clear content that empowers businesses to take or to make meaningful steps towards improving traceability and visibility. After successfully engaging audiences with our digital magazine, The Tracker, GS1 Kenya took a bold leap forward in media innovation.
Welcome to Traceability TV, your ultimate destination for all things traceability. We're the global platform that brings you the latest in traceability news, interviews, and live event coverage. From in-depth news updates to exclusive interviews, Traceability TV keeps you informed on the practices that are transforming industries worldwide. Our mission is simple: empowering organizations to achieve transparency, accountability, and sustainability throughout their supply chains. Our vision: a world where every product's journey is visible, ethical, and sustainable. At Traceability TV, we offer unparalleled opportunities for brand visibility. Feature your company, highlight your traceability solutions, and showcase your commitment to GS1 standards. Leverage our expertise to create high-quality advertisement videos that resonate with your audience, a sponsored segment to position your brand as a leader in the traceability space. You can support us by partnering on special projects. Your contributions help us deliver more in-depth analyses and expand our global coverage. Traceability TV is more than just a channel, it's a movement. Join us in building a future where every product's journey is visible and trusted. Traceability TV, we trace it, you trust it.
Traceability TV is our visual storytelling platform. It is created to bring traceability to life through authentic stories, real people, and real-world examples. Traceability TV is usually hosted on YouTube, offering weekly episodes that make the concept of traceability easy to follow and accessible to everyone. Our cameras also go beyond the boardrooms, traveling to farms, shops, and processing centers across the country. Whether it is fish from Kisumu or honey from Baringo, we document traceability in action at the source. Instead of talking in theory, we show how traceability works in real life, from scanning barcode to linking QR codes to product data. We take you through the entire tracking processes from start to finish. We focus on people behind the system, farmers, traders, and factory workers, making every episode relatable and easy to understand. This human-centered approach is what makes Traceability TV engaging and accessible. Even those new to the concept of traceability are able to understand this so that they can know how to track and trace the product they consume. In the next slide, I will show you how Traceability TV brings traceability stories to life through powerful and on-ground storytelling. Enjoy.
In the age of digital commerce, the journey of a product from the manufacturer to the consumer has transformed dramatically. Online marketplaces have revolutionized how we shop, offering unparalleled convenience and choice. However, with this transformation comes the challenge of ensuring transparency and trust in the supply chain. This is the story of traceability in the retail sector, a behind-the-scenes look at the mechanisms that ensure we know exactly where our products come from and how they reach our doorstep. Online marketplaces have seen exponential growth over the past decade. From giants like Amazon and Alibaba to local e-commerce platforms, these digital hubs have become integral to modern shopping. But as the volume of transactions increases, so does the complexity of managing and tracking these products. Online marketplaces offer a plethora of benefits: convenience, variety, and often lower prices. However, they also come with inherent risks that both consumers and businesses must navigate. The benefits are undeniable. Consumers have access to a vast array of products from around the world, often at competitive prices. For businesses, it's an opportunity to reach a global audience. Despite these advantages, online marketplaces are not without their pitfalls. Counterfeit products, shipping delays, and data breaches are just a few of the risks associated with digital commerce. Balancing these risks and benefits is essential. This is where robust traceability systems comes into play, ensuring that the benefits outweigh the risks by providing transparency and accountability at every stage. Traceability isn't just about tracking a package. It's about ensuring every step of the supply chain is transparent and accountable. From sourcing raw materials to the final delivery, each stage must be meticulously documented. With traceability, issues like product recalls or counterfeit goods can be quickly identified and addressed, maintaining the integrity of the supply chain. Technology plays a pivotal role in enabling traceability. GS1 standards, barcodes, and RFID tags are some of the tools that help create a seamless flow of information. GS1 standards ensures that all players in the supply chain speak the same language, making it easier to track and trace products across borders. Today's consumers are more informed and conscientious than ever. They expect transparency and accountability from the brands they support. Knowing where products come from, especially food and health products, gives consumers peace of mind. When a company can show the journey of a product, it builds trust and loyalty. Despite the advancements, traceability in online marketplaces faces significant challenges. Counterfeit goods infiltrate even the most secure supply chains, posing safety risks to consumers and financial risks to brands. Product recalls can be daunting, as identifying and isolating affected items requires precise and rapid traceability. In addition to these issues, maintaining accurate data throughout the entire supply chain can be difficult. Inconsistencies and errors can occur at any point, leading to discrepancies that undermine trust and efficiency. Furthermore, the fragmentation of information systems across different suppliers, logistic providers, and retailers can result in gaps and delays in tracking. The sheer scale of global supply chains adds another layer of complexity. Coordinating across multiple countries, languages, and regulations demands robust systems and continuous vigilance. Addressing these challenges is crucial to ensuring the integrity and transparency of the supply chain in online marketplaces. Transport and logistics are the lifeline of online marketplaces. Without efficient and transparent logistics, the entire supply chain can falter. Ensuring products are tracked accurately during transit is essential for maintaining the integrity of the supply chain. Innovations like real-time tracking and automated warehouses are revolutionizing how logistics are managed. These technologies provide unprecedented visibility and control over the movement of goods. The integration of cutting-edge technologies in logistics not only improves efficiency but also enhances traceability, ensuring that products are delivered accurately and on time. The future of traceability is promising. As technology continues to evolve, so will the methods and systems that ensure transparency and trust in online marketplaces. Greater integration and collaboration across the supply chain will achieve a level of traceability that meets the growing demands of consumers. Ultimately, traceability is about building trust. It's about assuring consumers that they can rely on the information they receive and that the products they buy are safe and authentic.
In addition to Traceability TV, GS1 Kenya continues to innovate in how we educate, engage, and empower our members. Our next big innovation is the GS1 Kenya Smart Center, a one-of-a-kind space where everything GS1 comes together under one roof. The Smart Center is where members experience GS1 solution faster, and that is from product identification to the digital data sharing. It is the central place where learning, demos, consultations, and media all happen under one environment. One of the most exciting features is our VR-powered training experience, the one I'm holding here. Members can wear this VR headset and walk through interactive supply chain, learning how to use barcodes, scan products, and apply standards in real time or in real-world scenarios. Whether you are in retail, logistics, or transport, farming, healthcare, or manufacturing, the Smart Center makes GS1 standards very, very easy for you to understand through practical tools and simulation. As we continue to innovate, we recognize one key audience we cannot ignore, the Gen Zs. They are not just the future, they are today's consumers, creators, influencers, and even the entrepreneurs. That's why GS1 Kenya is intentionally engaging young people in the spaces they understand best. We use TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, among others, and these platforms are where Gen Zs live, learn, and lead. We use short, dynamic, and content to share traceability insight, whether it is quick or a trending video or behind the scenes. We look all this and put it into consideration. We also share fun, visual, and educational content because our goal is to make traceability interesting. For example, we normally showcase on TikTok how people can scan the 2D barcode on the product to access the information. We also engage students, vendors, and other public, whether it is through school talks, market visits, or digital campaigns. We involve young people in conversation about standards, safety, and smart buying. And this gives them the opportunity to learn how visibility affects the thing they use, they eat, they wear, and maybe they sell. Additionally, we also host the Traceability TV podcast that is for the youth, so the Gen Zs, because this podcast gives young professionals and students a platform to talk about traceability from their own perspective as a business owners, shoppers, or tech creators. And it is a space where traceability meets lifestyle, opinion, and culture. From engaging Gen Z on TikTok and podcast to training businesses at the Smart Center and broadcasting stories on Traceability TV, all these efforts have one goal: real, measurable impact. So, what has been the result of this work? We've helped companies gain trust and increase sales. When customers can see and verify products' journey, they trust and tend to love the brand more. Our features have also helped companies to build the trust, and as a result, they have boosted their revenues. We've also given SMEs a national exposure because through Traceability TV, the track and social media campaign, small and medium enterprises that were only known locally are now gaining attention across the country. We've also promoted transparency, and thanks to the consistent messaging, more consumers are also scanning barcodes, asking questions, and also choosing traceable products. And this, by doing this, we've shifted mindset that is from price alone to the safety and authenticity. We've also inspired the policymakers because our storytelling has reached beyond businesses into the boardrooms, conferences, halls, and even legislative, spaces. Traceability now is part of the national conversation on the food regulation, product safety, and public health. After seeing the kind of impacts we've made, from boosting SMEs' visibility to shaping national conversations, the next question is, how can we do the same for you? At GS1 Kenya Media, we don't just tell stories. We help you tell your own stories as well. Here is what we can offer you: company visits and product story filming. We come to your premise, follow your product's journey, and capture it all in professional, high-quality video. That is from the factory floors to retail shelves. We document what makes your processes unique. We also do documentaries and promo video productions, whether you want to showcase your innovation, traceability system, or product line. We create compelling videos that tells your brand's story clearly and powerfully. We also publish brand stories and traceability features, and your story deserves to be seen and read. We publish features in the tracker, our blog, and across all social media platforms, helping you to reach the right audience with the right message. We also support for campaigns and communication strategies. If you need help in creating traceability awareness campaign as well, we work with you in plan, design, and run outreach initiatives that inform and educate and inspire actions. As we come to the end of this presentation, I want to leave you with one message. This is just the beginning. Whether your company already has a media team or not, we believe there is always a room to collaborate, share ideas, and create more impact together. Let's talk after this. Let's build something together, something visible, something valuable, and something that moves the traceability conversation forward. Below are my contacts. Feel free to reach me out in regards to collaboration and partnership. As we close, I invite you to watch one of our latest documentaries, a real example of how we use media to tell powerful traceability stories from the ground up. After the video, I'll be happy to take any question, suggestion, or compliments you may have. Thank you.
In Africa, we say food is life. From the maize on the fire to the fresh skooma on the plate. Food brings families together. Food is love. It's a mother's care, a farmer's hope. But behind the meals we share is a story we don't talk about. A hidden danger. A long chain with no record. A journey with no footprints. This is what happens when food has no name. In April 2004, something terrible happened in Kenya. People in Makueni, Kitui, Machakos, they started dying. Quietly and suddenly. One by one, they fell sick. Children stopped eating. Parents coughed blood. The cause? A deadly poison in the maize, aflatoxin. The maize had been stored badly in warm, damp conditions. It turned toxic. More than 125 people died. But no one could trace the source. No farmer, no warehouse, no market could say, this maize came from me. There was no record, no way to recall it from the shelves, no way to warn families. So the poison kept moving, from sacks to shops to stomachs. In 2016, in a quiet part of Kirinyaga, a tomato farmer sat on the ground, his hands dirty, his heart broken. A hotel in Nairobi had blamed his tomatoes for food poisoning. Guests were hospitalized. The hotel lost money. A child nearly died. He was accused, but he had no records to defend himself. He had sprayed his crops responsibly, but he had no logbook, no proof of pesticide dates, no packaging codes. He lost his contract. He lost his name. He lost his dignity. His tomatoes were fresh, but his system was broken. In 2019, something frightening happened again. The government ordered that some maize flour brands be removed from shelves. Why? Aflatoxins, again, the silent killer. But by the time the order came, many bags had already been sold, already eaten. There was no system to track which batches had the problem, no scanner, no barcode data, no visibility. And just like in 2004, the poison walked freely into homes. In Europe, since 2005, all food must be traceable. It's the law. One problem, they trace it to the source in hours. In Japan, traceability is part of the farming culture. Even a cucumber has an ID. In the United States of America, barcode systems help recall unsafe food within minutes. But in Africa, we still rely on word of mouth, memory, guesswork. Every day in Africa, Food moves from one hand to another, to another, to another. From the shamba to the boda boda, to the mamamboga, to you. But what if there's a mistake? What if a disease breaks out, like E. coli, or Salmonella, or Listeria? Can we find the source? Can we stop the spread? If we cannot trace it, we cannot fix it. Food without a name can heal, or it can harm. A mango from your backyard should not be feared. A glass of milk should not kill. A bag of maize should not marry a child. But that will only happen if we know where the food comes from. If we give food a name, a path, a history. Traceability is not just about technology. It's about the truth. It's about trust. It's about life. We've lost too much already. We cannot keep guessing. In episode 2 of The Food Path, we go deeper. We visit the tech labs, the digital farms, the apps and barcodes. We speak to the people behind the future of food. We meet the organizations like GS1 Kenya, county governments, and innovators across Africa who are saying never again. Join us as we uncover the tools that will help Africa finally trace every seed, every spoon, every life. Wow, Stephen, thank you. What an incredible way to round up our line of presentations for this Traceability Week. Thank you so much, Stephen, for showing us the power of media in turning traceability, which is just a technical concept, into a public movement. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you so much, Marianne.
Okay, we're so happy to have you here. And as we continue, I'd like to remind our people who are watching us live that we are giving out credit. But this time, I have one condition before I give you this credit. Please go to Traceability TV and subscribe. Tell everyone in your office, tell everyone in your family to subscribe. The videos that you just watched right now from Stephen's presentation are from our channel, and that's what we give here at Traceability TV. We give content, and not just any content, emotional driving content that means something and has the power to change everything. And that's what we do here at Traceability TV. So if you're tuning in from Traceability TV, karibu sana. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us and showing in and showing out every single day over there on YouTube. We love you over here. So on the comment section, please give us some comments, show us some love. And even here on the chat is open. So if you have any questions, tune in, type it out. Or if you have any compliments for Stephen, we are also accepting all that. So please type it out and we will be able to read it here for Stephen. He can answer any question when it comes to traceability, when it comes to traceability in the media, and GS1 Kenya in its role in all that. So please, if you can, type. And if you can, and I know you will, I trust that you will. We've had so much fun here on Traceability since day one. So please go to Traceability TV on YouTube and subscribe to our channel as we engage further with Stephen. So Stephen, you mentioned the role of media in shaping public perception. In your view, what's the biggest misconception that the public has about traceability, and how can media correct it?
Okay, thank you so much, Marianne, for that good question. I will start by saying this. The most common misconception that is there with the public is that traceability is meant for corporates or big companies. Another thing is that traceability is always for people who are exporting, which means if you are not exporting, that means you don't have to do traceability. But that is not the case. You've seen the last documentary that tells you that everyone is at risk if there is no traceability. And to answer that question again, That is what basically the media is trying to demystify. We are trying to tell everyone that it is not just about the big companies, it is not just about the exporters, but it is about everyone. This is a collective responsibility, and this is what we are trying to show through storytelling.
Thank you so much for that answer. So he is the brilliant mind behind Traceability TV on all the productions that we have over there. So if you have any question for him, anything to do with the role of media in the role of GS1 Kenya and the media, please ask him and he'll be able to answer. And at the same time, I'd like to prompt all of you to go to Traceability TV and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching from Traceability TV, I trust that you have already subscribed to our channel. So for that, asante sana. So please go to Traceability TV. I am reading this credit, and if we are gifting you credit, please gift us a subscription, share, like the content, watch. Please, it's not just a channel, it's something that offers amazing insights and information that you will benefit from as you just watch something on food traceability. All those things that even a documentary that will even come up after all this, and even the security documentary that you watched, all that is a production of Traceability TV. And we're not just giving you a small taste, we have a whole world on the other side. So if you can, just go and subscribe to our channel, and I'll remind you that the chat is open for any questions and any comments that you'd like to share with Stephen. He is here and he's ready. So as I said, I am dishing out credit. And for me to give you credit, I need you to subscribe. So if you want me to read out these numbers, I want my team to tell me that our numbers are going up. Right now, I can still see that no one has gone and subscribed. So please go and subscribe to our channel. We'll be really, really grateful. And before we continue, we have a question. We have a question for our viewers, and I will be reading out the question shortly after Stephen presents what he's holding in his hand right now. Please present what all the VR is about.
Okay, just like I presented, we at GS1 Kenya, apart from other innovations, we have what is called GS1 Kenya Smart Center. I believe most of you, the members who have interacted with this before, you know what it does. But just to remind others, this is a virtual reality, and the VR headset is meant to help you as a member so that you can know what we are doing in terms of a virtual space. So what we normally have is a virtual environment that shows you how the GS1 set of standards operate, be it in healthcare, be it in construction, be it in academia, in all our sectors. So this is also part of the training that GS1 Kenya is offering. And I would also like to say this: if you are interested, you can come. We can also train you on how to know more about GS1 standards in regards to virtual reality.
Thank you so much for giving us that insightful session on the VR. So up next is, we've seen that some sectors adopt traceability faster than others. How can media be used to drive adoption traditionally in slow-moving sectors like agriculture and construction?
Okay, agriculture is not slow. I don't think it is slow.
Yeah.
It's one of the fastest growing. But all that said, I think that media should play a key role in ensuring that people who are all the, let me call them the stakeholders, or businessmen, small, medium enterprises, that is within agriculture, construction, and all other sectors. I think the media should be giving them that platform to showcase their success stories, what they do. Most of these agricultural companies, or maybe the farmers who is doing amazing work, maybe all the way in Nyandarua, we cannot know his or her story unless we have a documentary, unless we have a piece that is, or a content that is showing us what they are doing. So media is really, really playing a key role in ensuring that we give them an exposure. We are giving them an exposure, we are giving them a platform. It could be national or international as well, because you've been told traceability is international.
Yes.
Now people are watching from Europe, they are watching from all the way to Afghanistan. So it is something that is big. So we are giving them that exposure. So they just need to
partner with us, give us their stories so that we can expose them and tell the people what they are doing.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. As you've heard, if you'd like to keep engaging with us or get connected with us here at Traceability TV, we do have a YouTube channel and you can go subscribe. And at the same time, we can follow us on our social media across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have very funny content on TikTok when it comes to Traceability TV. So please go follow us over there. You will see more of Stephen and even more of me. So if you'd love to to be engaged with what we have to offer at Traceability TV, please go and subscribe and go follow us across all our social media platforms. Now, Stephen, you had mentioned a digital magazine on your presentation. Can you please tell our viewers more about the magazine?
Yes, before I answer that,
Yes.
I think you should ask them a question,
Okay.
the name of that digital magazine,
Okay.
so that you can gift them.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Now I had a question for you now, but Stephen has given the best question. If you are actively listening and you are keen, can you tell us the name of the digital magazine that Stephen asked? And I will give you a gift hamper. So if you know, during Stephen's presentation, he mentioned that we have a digital magazine that is currently running. It has amazing, amazing content. So if you know the name of that digital magazine, type it out on the comment section and we will be able to give you a gift hamper. And that's thanks to all our sponsors, Sunvit, Fayaz Bakers, and Aquabreeze. They have amazing gifts for you. And so if you can answer that question, what is the digital magazine that Stephen had mentioned in his presentation? I have a gift for you. So do you want to skip that question until we save it for last?
Yes.
We will be saving that question that I just answered for last. We've dished it out to you guys. So if you have the answer, type it out in the comment section. The chat is open and you can also ask us questions and you can also give Stephen a comment or one or two comments and the chat is open. So do anything that you want when it comes to asking questions regarding his presentation and also giving him a comment, one or two comments regarding his presentation. So we'll go to the next question, and that will be, what role do social media platforms play in spreading awareness and education around traceability, and how can organizations use them more effectively?
Yes, that's a very good question. Social media plays a very big role. In fact, if I will give an example, we have TikTok. Most people watch TikTok videos, and social media can be used to spread the message. In regards to traceability, this is what we've also done at GS1 Kenya. And at GS1 Kenya, we normally have TikTok, which is very, very active. We tend to show people how things are done in terms of scanning the 2D barcode to get more information. Now, social media as a platform is also having a wider public view. That means the organizations, be it GS1 Kenya members or others, still you can use social media to connect to members and also spread the information about traceability. Apart from TikTok, we also have the Facebook, we even have the YouTube Shorts, among others, and this can really, really provide a very, very big platform because back to the history, if we go back, that is in the 1600, you will realize that social media played a very, very key role in giving people information. When you look at the history of the television, when you look at the history of print media, you will realize that it was used to change the perception. So as a company, when you have a media house, inbuilt media house, they can help you manage this content in regards to traceability, with us supporting you as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I'll ask the question once again for those who have just tuned in, or maybe you've not had me the first time. The question that we asked so that we can be able to give out our gift hamper. And let me say, this is the last gift hamper we'll be giving because Stephen's session is the last session of Traceability Week 2025, maybe until next year. But for now, I only have one last gift hamper to give, and I really want to give it to our active listeners. So the question was, What digital magazine did Stephen mention in his presentation? What is the name of the digital magazine that Stephen mentioned in his presentation? Here at GS1 Kenya, we have a digital magazine and we have amazing stories down there. You think traceability is where it ends? No, we want to give out and dish out all the information when it comes to everything traceability. So please write down the name of the digital magazine that Stephen mentioned in his presentation. If you're on Traceability TV on YouTube, you can also type it out, and I have someone on the lookout, and you will win something small, a very beautiful gift hamper from our sponsors. That is Fayaz Bakers, Aquabreeze, and Sandwich. Thank you so much for sponsoring Traceability Week 2025. Now, moving on to our last question. But before we go, I'd like to read out some credit because I have been told that there are people who are subscribing. So please go and subscribe to Traceability TV. That's why Stephen is here. He's here to tell us more about Traceability TV and also that digital magazine that I would say the name until you type it out. So please go, you can even rewind, go and look at what Stephen had said on what digital magazine do we have here at GS1 Kenya and give us the name and you get a gift. So let me read some credit here for you. I have one from Airtel and I'll be reading it out. So I hope your pens are ready. 74471669928835. I'll read it one last time. 74471669928835. That's from Airtel. And then when it comes to Safaricom, I'll read out two. So be ready. Are you ready? Okay, I'm starting. 4283084323612580. I'll read it one last time. 4283084323612580. And then I'll read one last one. 3273744078721585. So if you've gotten that, please let us know in the comment section and leave a shout out to Stephen, telling him thank you for his amazing presentation on the role of media here at GS1 Kenya. So please, I'll continue the questions, but if you've gotten the credit, please let me know or else I'll be reading the numbers before we close. Now, last but not least, Stephen, as a media professional here at GS1 Kenya, what has been one of your most impactful campaigns or media moments that helped move the needle on traceability awareness?
Okay. Number one, it will be traceability, the invention of Traceability TV. This was a very, very big breakthrough to us at GS1 Kenya. And I believe Traceability TV has given us a good exposure as an institution or as an organization, not only to GS1 Kenya, but also to the GS1 Kenya members and the general public. So this invention has given us a platform to showcase what we do. Again, it has also given us the opportunity to also interact with the public, get what they think about us, what they think about our members. So this is quite a good innovation that has also given us a good heads up. Now, another one is the VR, virtual reality. This was invented last year. It is also a very, very good innovation that has also given us a very good success stories, enabling our members to also be able to see what happens at GS1 Kenya through the virtual environment. And now we are also in a process of even developing a robot so that this robot can also help us and give you that physical interaction. So we are going to have much more, but the two very, very great breakthrough to us as GS1 Kenya Media.
Thank you for your answer. Stephen, I have a surprise for you. Imagine people were actively listening to your presentation because you have two correct answers from Yvonne and from Josen Tong Traders Limited. So thank you so much. You guys have gotten the correct answer. The answer is, kindly tell us what the answer is.
The Tracker Magazine.
Yes, the answer is the Tracker Magazine. So thank you so much for actively listening to us, and you get a gift for listening and being active listeners and actually even engaging with us there on the chat. Thank you so much. The answer is the Tracker Magazine. Can you kindly now say something small about the Tracker Magazine?
Okay, congratulations to the winners. Thank you for being attentive in my class, and I will also gift you next time. Now, the Tracker is an online digital platform or magazine that gives news. Just like the Traceability TV, Traceability TV is in a video form, but now Tracker is in, it could be, we have two versions. There's one that can be printed. There's also one that comes online. That is why we call it a digital magazine. So just like Traceability TV, Tracker also publishes the stories, especially stories that are related to current traceability trend and also the standards that are used in the traceability. The tracker also gives our SMEs and our members to, they give their story, that is, they give them their exposure by giving stories about what they are doing in regards to traceability. And at GS1 Kenya, we partner with very, very many members in regards to the Tracker magazine. We've been writing articles about them. I'm sure of the Salvaco, among others. We even have Aquabreeze, our sponsors, which we are really, really grateful about. So Tracker magazine, how do you access it? You can go www.media.tracker.com. You will go www.thetracker.media and it will get you to the platform. And once you reach the platform, we have articles that are slated in different sectors. We have the agriculture, we have technology, we even have construction, among others. So when you go there, you can read stories depending on your interest. And also you need to understand that we can also partner with you as a person. You can give us your story and we can publish it on the Tracker magazine at a small fee. But when you start first, we'll give you one first free airing. After that, we can now see on what we can do.
Okay, you had it here first. If you engage us first, you get a free article and even maybe a free documentary and a free interview on Traceability TV. So don't just sit there, get our numbers, engage with us, and you will have free marketing from GS1 to you. So just to say something small about the Tracker magazine, the writing there is extraordinary. Our writers are amazing. They tell stories in a different way. Everyone tells stories, but the way the Tracker tells the story of traceability is one of a kind. So please engage with us here at Traceability TV and here at GS1 Kenya, and you'll be able to tell your story in the way you want it to tell it and in another class. So please engage with us and also subscribe to Traceability TV. And before Stephen gives his parting shot and we close this session, I'd like to say a few more numbers so that you can win some credit because you have been amazing and for showing in and showing out all day, every day. So I'll read the last few numbers, which is 428308, 432361, 25080, 2465. This is another one. I'll start again for those who didn't hear me. 2465 2665 9980 4643. And I'll read the Airtel Money one because I don't know if anyone has been getting the credit, but if you have, congratulations to you. Please let us know before we close the session. The Airtel, I'll be reading Airtel, 74471669928835. I'll read it one more time. I really want someone to get this. It's 74471669928835. Thank you so much to our listeners. And I'll tell Stephen to give us one last parting shot before we close this session.
Okay, as we conclude this, I want to tell you one thing. The best place that you can get traceability news is the Traceability TV and the Tracker magazine. We can also tell your story, and at GS1 Kenya Media, we believe that you can also tell your own story. And we give you that platform on the Traceability TV and the Tracker. Again, we also look forward to partner with you. After this, I will be sharing partnership emails with you as GS1 Kenya members so that we can see how we can work together. It doesn't matter. You could be having your own in-house media station or media team, but at GS1 Kenya, we believe in the spirit of collaboration. If we collaborate, we can give impactful stories and we can change the narrative that traceability is not only for the exporters, it is not only for people who want to comply to regulation, but traceability affects both of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying here and answering my questions. Thank you, Asante Sana. So to our audience, as I said, we are wrapping up Traceability Week 2025 under the theme A New Renaissance, Connecting Consumers Through Traceability and Sustainability. I have been your host, Miriam Munyoki, and thank you for giving me the honor and for allowing me to journey with you through this exciting week full of so many inspiring stories and all this information that has been given to you. So thank you for being amazing, for showing in and showing out, and for engaging with me at the comment section. If you're tuning in at Traceability TV, thank you for staying tuned for the last 3 days. Asante Sana. Now, to close out Traceability Week 2025, please join me in welcoming back the leadership that continues to power this movement. Our General Manager, Eva Buyu, is up next.
Sunbeat, Club 99. Why pay more? Mbona ulipe zaidi? Sunbeat, feel good every bite. Sunbeat, Club 99.
This is the best water in Kenya. I'm not just saying this because I'm from here. I'm saying this because I've traveled all over the world and I've tried so many different types of water. There's no water that compares to the purity and the freshness of Aqua Breeze. It's so pure.
A good afternoon to you all, and welcome to our closing ceremony on Traceability Week. It has been a 3-day impactful day. We began with migration to 2D that was done by Ian, and then we moved to digitization of agriculture, having RODA on it. Then we moved to traceability in the retail place. We have done several things in terms of innovation, retail migration to 2D, the role of GS1 media in terms of all of this that you have just seen from Stephen. And we had Geoffrey who had come in. We also had Regan, Nelson. And we also want to give a very big thank you to Camino, who was with us in terms of fish, and you have learned on traceability on fish. Thank you very much, Camino Ruiz. We want to thank Joseph Olo as well for taking us through, and those were the staff who are with you this particular week. Of course, we cannot forget your host, Marianne Munyoki, and all the airtime that you have managed to win. To our sponsors, Fires Bakers, a big thank you. The cookies are beautiful. Aqua Breeze, beautiful. Thank you for the water. Sunvit, your adverts are magnificent. And we are really grateful. To the management of GS1 Kenya and the staff, we would like to say a very big thank you. But what we have had the entire day today is every single thing that you have seen and all the documentaries that you have seen. We ask you to like, follow, subscribe on Traceability TV. We ask you to keep in touch with us so that we can be able to move to the next frontier. Before we have the CEO coming in, I would like to introduce a healthcare video that will take you on traceability in healthcare and let you know what you need to know and what you not need to do. From GS1 Kenya, thank you. My name is Eva Boyu.
Imagine a small, dimly lit home in a rural Kenyan village. A mother is sitting silently on the floor, staring at the empty chair where her husband usually sits. Their children are huddling close, their wide eyes filled with fear. Their young minds are struggling to understand why their father is 6 feet down and covered in the slab. This is the story of Bidii. Let's take you back to where it all began. Bidii, their provider, their protector, their only hope in a world that offers them so little. Every morning before the sun rises, he's already up, working tirelessly at whatever job he can find to put food on the table. His hands are calloused from endless labor, but his heart overflows with love. He holds on to a dream, a future where his children have access to education, opportunities, and a life free from poverty. But today, a simple fever sends him to the local hospital. The doctor prescribes medication for Bidii as an outpatient. The nurse collects the medicine, but an unnoticed fatal mistake is unfolding. A wrong prescription, a miscommunication, a packaging error. He trusts the system, but as soon as he gets home, he takes the pills. Within hours, his body begins to fail. His breathing grows heavy. His hands tremble, and his wife watches in horror as he collapses. They are rushing him back to the hospital, but it's too late. His lifeless body is lying still, and the dreams of his children are shattering before their eyes. Mama, when is Baba waking up? The mother is pulling them close, her tears falling silently onto their tiny hands. This should never be happening, and GS1 Kenya is making sure it doesn't. Imagine if that bottle of medicine is carrying a GS1 barcode. A single scan is verifying the medicine. A single scan is checking for errors. A single scan is saving his life. GS1 Kenya is working tirelessly to ensure that every hospital, pharmacy, and clinic is getting it right. With our globally recognized standards, we are eliminating the risk of mislabeling, counterfeit drugs, and dangerous medical errors. Because no child should be growing up without a father. Because no mother should be explaining why her husband is never coming home. Because a simple scan should not be the difference between life and death. GS1 Kenya, saving lives one scan at a time.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us the last 3 days. We are so honored to feel that you are part and parcel of this new development. 3 years ago, when we began this journey, we did not know where it was going to take us. But today, we now know where it should be and where we are going to go. Next year, we promise to do it even better, and we are going to do it differently. Why? Because we believe traceability is part and parcel of our future, of our products, and of our growth. 10 years ago, when we were in the middle of forming GS1 as an organization, we looked back 15 years before that, and we realized we were using nothing but the tags. We've moved away from those tags to ensure that at least 50% to 60% of the producers or the manufacturers in this country use the barcode at the point of sale. Today, the consumer are demanding a lot. The consumer wants, and you all know that the future of this generation is the Gen Z who are now becoming parents in the next 5 years. They have a totally different ways of looking at things and how things should be done. One of them is to embrace the AI technology, artificial intelligence. You cannot have an artificial intelligence in your organization if you do not have reliable data, trusted data. And this is where GS1 is coming in to allow you to set up standards on how to manage your data. From Monday, Tuesday to today, you've realized that you are all shown on how each and every sector can develop their internal data and manage it. When you manage that data correctly, you'll be actually doing part of AI, artificial intelligence. To make us go through, we want you to come in plenty next year. We're going to have it both as a virtual, but we're going to make it more interesting that we're going to do it at physical place, because we believe 3 years of doing this one is making us, or is making you understand why you should be part and parcel of this new development. We want to hear your stories. We want to come to us next year in a workshop where we can actually develop new ways together. Not that GS1 is going to develop. We'll innovate system and standards of doing it, but we want you to be part and parcel of doing it so that when you own it and embrace it, you'll actually achieve more. I believe with the traceability, we are going to conquer the world market. We're going to conquer the Amazons. We're going to conquer the Google. We're going to conquer the Alibabas. And this is where the economy is moving into. I want to close this today by thanking you once again and recognize our sponsors and request those who did not sponsor this, please be part and parcel of us, at least chip in something else to make this an event, an annual event where we are all going to learn, because learning does not end in the classroom. It continues until we go 6 feet under. With this, thank you very much, and we thank God for allowing us to go through. See you next year, see you in better ways, and let us have lunch together. Thank you very much.